52 on this Tuesday morning, and here's what you need to know before you go.
If anything on your to-do list involves Uncle Sam, you might want to cross it off starting today. So the federal government could shut down unless Congress reach an agreement by midnight. Sticking points remain, with Democrats wanting to undo recent Medicaid cuts and preserve certain Obamacare subsidies. Also want to make it harder for the president to cut funds Congress has approved. Now, for Americans, a shutdown might affect customer service, paperwork, food inspections, national parks, and more. Social Security payments could continue, but air travelers could experience some delays. Experts worry a government closure could hurt the economy and postpone the release of important economic reports.
The search for escaped inmate Michael Todd Hart is now an active investigation, not a ground search. Hart escaped NERC, a corrections facility in Saginaw, last Tuesday. Authorities believe Hart has likely left Duluth and returned to the Iron Range, where he has family and friends. Multiple tips have come in, but none have led to his arrest. Last week, sightings near Highway 8 and 53 sparked massive response with canines, drones, and even a state patrol plane. But Hart was not found. 2 individuals believed to be Hart's accomplices were detained, and one is now facing charges. If you see Hart or have information on his whereabouts, you are asked to call 911.
In Duluth, fire crews rushed to East 8th Street just after midnight Sunday, where flames tore through a 2-story home. 4 people inside made it out safely, but 2 pets, a dog and a cat, died in the fire. Another cat was rescued. Damage is estimated at more than $110,000. All 4 people have been displaced at this time. The cause is still under investigation by the fire marshal's office.
A 5-year-old boy with autism is back safe with his family after wandering away from his campsite near Sturgeon Lake Friday. Pine County deputies called in support from a human trafficking team and led the search with multiple infrared and thermal drones. There were also deputies on foot, ATVs, and horseback. Due to the help of Project Lifesaver, teams were able to track the radio frequency of the child and locate the boy 3 miles away. According to the Pine County Sheriff's Office, the boy was evaluated by medical personnel and reunited with his family.
And paying for college can feel overwhelming, and in Wisconsin, it's influencing where and whether students even go. The Wisconsin Coalition on Student Debt says that FAFSA opening in October, it's the perfect time to start asking some important questions and getting help too. College-going rates in Wisconsin have dropped to 52%, down 10 points from a decade ago. The coalition, supported by Ascendium Funding, offers free resources like its student loan helpline to guide borrowers through repayment and help future students make informed choices. The coalition has a free helpline staffed by trained specialists that families can contact to help understand student debt.